Hey everybody, welcome to Professor DiMaggio's Gaming. This is the part 3 in my series for optimizing Rashid combos for ranked matches. A lot of the stuff you see on my channel, it looks really flashy, but it may or may not be optimal. Some of the stuff I'm doing is just in casual matches or for fun. But what's the difference between like stuff that's actually useful for optimized combo damage versus stuff that's just sort of flashy? That's what this series is for. So we're going to be looking today at Rashid's slide combos and when those are actually useful and when they're not. Let's just jump into it. So the first thing we're going to identify is what are the kinds of combos you'll see on my page that look really flashy, but that's really all they are. They're just sort of flash. So we're going to look at 4 examples of that. One is just sort of like, the slide into, usually these are slides into level 2s, so they involve, like in this case, a standing heavy kick after into an EX spike. 2 of them. This is probably the most flashy of them all. You've got the double EX spike. You'll see me do this sometimes. It's actually a really hard combo to execute on in terms of the timing. It looks really cool, but you can see here, actual damage-wise, 36.7%. So the damage is not super great for using all of your super meter and 4 of your EX bars. Another one you've probably seen me do recently is the slide into level 2 with the heavy kick into the forward medium punch cancel into the EX mixer, EX sky high, and then the level 1. It's really sort of more of the same. You're getting 36.6% damage here. You're going through your whole super meter and 4 of your EX bars. Another variant on this is the slide level 2 straight into EX mixer, EX sky high, and then you do a medium mixer into a level 1 for your juggle. Again, right around the same damage. These are all giving you around 37% damage, or close to it. And then a final flash combo you might see me do is the ground bounce 1-2 frame linker. This one is, the standing heavy kick into EX mixer, but you do the light sky high into the down heavy punch ground bounce, which is actually really, really, really hard to do. And after that, you can actually do a slide after the ground bounce into a level 1. And you get a little more damage with this one. It's about 30, almost 38%. Really, really, really hard to do. Sometimes I've done this in some of my highlight reels for people who watch those. Okay, so here's the funny part. I'm talking about flash combos, but if you're doing ranked mode, none of those combos are optimal or good, and I don't really recommend any of them. They're great for flash. They're good for show. They're good for styling on people, but they're not what you would want to do in a ranked mode. We're going to talk now about what you would actually do for ranked with optimal slide combos. And this is actually really important because Rashid's slide is negative and you're taking a risk by using it. They can block real easily if they're doing crouch blocking your opponent, and they can punish you. So I don't generally recommend using the slide unless you're doing it as a punish. If you're doing it in ranked mode, there's one time when it's actually really good to do this, and that's when people are spamming fireballs. So it ends up being like kind of predictive in the sense that you can't do it on reaction. But what you would actually end up doing is if you see someone throwing 2 or 3 fireballs, they're trying to zone you, they're spamming, you could either block or jump over the first one. But in order to do this, you're not going to be able to block and run if they're spamming the fireballs. You're going to want to jump the fireball. And then for the next one, you're predicting they're going to do it, right? You're going to start your run and go into the slide after. And now you've got a punish counter, as you can see there. And so, yeah, that is actually a really good scenario for getting good damage if you want to punish somebody for that kind of gameplay. So what are we talking about here? The funny part is that, like, you just saw those flashy, snazzy combos, right? But really, when it comes down to it, like, just doing the simple slide into level 3, just that, right, is going to get you about 40% damage. So it's easier than doing all those other combos I was just showing you. And it actually gets you more damage. So why would you do anything else? Like, this is the one that you'd want to do. If you've got a level 3 built up, if you're going to use that meter anyways, like, you get 40% damage and you don't have to do any EX. You have to spend 4 or you spend nothing and you get the 40% damage. And that's actually a little more than 40% if you're doing it as a punish counter in the situation I recommended when people are spamming fireballs. So yeah, this is really all you need when you talk about optimal play in ranked mode. Don't do the slide unless it's on very, very, very rare occasion to do it raw. And I think most of the time you're doing it, you should be doing it as a punish counter for people who are spamming fireballs. And obviously you can do other ones too that are just as simple, and they're going to net you a lot of damage too. So you can do the slide as a punish counter into a level 1, and you're going to get 25% if you were just doing it raw. But if you're doing it as a punish counter, it's somewhere between 25 to 30% damage, a little bit more damage than this. But so you really just don't need anything more than the slide into the level 1 or the level 3 then, if you're doing ranked mode, if you're doing it as a punish for fireball. If you want a couple more of these combos, they're actually still pretty good too. They use a little bit less resources. One really good one, as you can see here, is the slide into level 2. And you can do a neutral jump after into standing heavy kick and an EX spike into a light spike. And you're going to get almost 32% damage on that. So that one's not bad too if you want to do something that's not quite a level 3. But will give you more damage than just doing the level 1. This is getting you into early 30% damage, significantly more damage than just doing the slide into the level 1. And another iteration on this, which is pretty much the same as slide into level 2, neutral jump heavy kick EX spike, but doing it with the heavy mixer. And it's pretty much the same damage as the last one, but tiny bit more. So I just want to remind everybody, the name of the game with ranked mode is making as few mistakes as possible compared to your opponent. So you want to be taking very few risks and chances. And so the slide by itself is not super good because it's negative, easy to punish, but it is actually really, really good if you're only doing it every once in a great while, maybe once a match, or more regularly, but only as a punish counter for fireball spam. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I'm going to be doing more of these optimizing Rashid videos. I've probably got about a dozen more of them to help people with ranked mode. Whether you're climbing ranked before master or after master, it should be helpful. If the video was helpful, please give it a like. If you're not subscribed and you'd like to be, feel free to subscribe. Otherwise, I will see you all in the next video. Take care.